Who's like? Do you get a lot of like hate on Twitter and stuff?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
sure. But it is what it is. I mean, it's it's funny with Twitter and social media because a lot of them come off like they're these hardcore critics and this and that. But it's like a lot of them are just literally. They need the same thing college students need with safe space.
Yeah, right.
Because they can't just come out, and they've gotten mad at me when I've said I despise their anonymity. I don't respect it. Because it's like, look, we're not in fucking communist China, all right? You're not criticizing the regime where you're going to be thrown in jail.
Right. Yeah.
You just want the safe space. You want to weigh in, but you don't want to weigh in as yourself.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of it, but I kind of take it with a grain of salt. But it doesn't mean it's not legit criticism either. Like I did the chip animation, and some people really loved it, and a lot of people hated it. And you have to weed through hateful comments, like because a lot of them are just being cunts. But some of them made great points. So you have to like weed through and go, okay, well, that was a really smart criticism.
Yeah.
They're right. This didn't capture Bob, but whatever. You know what I mean? But let's say between reading that, you have to read, you're a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, all you had to say was, this is why I didn't like it, and I actually would have given weight to what you just said.
Yeah. Right. Well, I feel like, I mean, half those people are just mad about the schism, the O&A schism.
Oh, that's a tremendous part of it, yeah.
Why I don't understand taking sides with, like, the end of two grown men's friendship.
It's a weird thing, you know. It's like that's basically what it is. It's like a divorce, and they're really mad.
Well, Dad gave me a better birthday last year, so I like his house more.
They look at it like, and again, I can only speak from what I've heard from them.
Yeah.
But a lot of them come from a place of like, this was a show that. It was a different fan base. It was a very aggressive fan base.
Yeah.
And very
well, I remember when
taunting.
When I was a teenager, it was like, wasn't it like a bit, like a pest bit to like blow a fucking air horn in like a local news reporter's ear?
No, that was the one that ended that bit actually. They got sued. Yeah.
Says, yeah, let's make somebody fucking deaf.
Yeah, it was just about being stupid and getting their name out there.
Yeah.
But when their show ended, people really did split down the middle because it was frustrating for them to see this thing that they love so much gone. Like one day it was there and one day it was gone. And then when Opie and myself didn't go with Anthony, that's when a lot of the anger came out. Like they were angry immediately that we didn't quit.
Yeah, right.
Which contractually we couldn't have. We would have gotten sued by Sirius. And then when we re-upped with Sirius and didn't go with Ant, I always kind of held out a secret hope that there would be some kind of reconciliation. But as time went on, it became apparent that it would not be.
But the thing I don't understand about the side-taking thing is, like, have you never had a group of friends in your life? I mean, anybody I know knows somebody or knows two different people that fucking hate each other.
Sure.
And they can be friends with both of them. And that's like a social dynamic that everyone has to navigate. And then these people just don't understand that.
I think what bothers them is they looked at it like, these guys are very, and I mean, see, these guys, meaning me too, are very real people. They tell us how things are for them, and they tell us what life is or how they see life. And then all of a sudden, this, as you said, schism, this thing happens, and it's not the way they saw it. They're like, these fucking guys were fake. They didn't tell us that they didn't like each other. They acted like everything was okay. To me, I mean, I was there every day, so I saw a lot of it.
Yeah.
But there were things that came out afterwards that I wasn't even aware of. You know, I didn't know exactly how Opie felt. There were times where he said things were good, and there were times where he said things were bad. So I think the fans, if I'm sitting there and I'm not 100% sure, like there's been a couple things that have happened in the time since the show ended that surprised me.
Yeah.
But then the fans also have to be realistic too. It's like Keith Richards and Mick Jagger really don't like each other.
Yeah. Right.
You know, Kiss didn't like each other for years.
Yeah.
Ozzy and Sabbath didn't get along at one point. It's how it is in a creative collaboration.
Right.
The difference is when you're hearing music, you're not hearing real opinions on a real-time daily basis.
Yeah.
You're not hearing the fucking recording sessions.
Right.
Where they're yelling at each other. So when it's just a different dynamic with talk radio, man. Fans get very attached to it. But the only thing that bothers me about the fans' reaction is the way they've kind of turned on the three of us. And it's like, man, we made you laugh for fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
The guys that hated us all along, that's different.
Yeah.
But it's like all of a sudden to have such vitriolic anger towards guys that made you... Like, I've been pissed off at people who I enjoyed too.
Yeah.
But I didn't get that vengefully angry at them.
I guess it's kind of like a finding out like wrestling is fake sort of thing.
But it wasn't a fake dynamic.
Right.
It was I mean what you saw, I mean we were trying to be funny, and there was a lot of it they saw before it ended too. But yeah, maybe it is along those lines. They just feel deceived to a certain point. But, it's like I have to let more of my personal life hang out than fucking almost anybody in showbiz. Like, what do you want?
Right.
Like, that's what bothers me. It's like, what do you fucking guys want? Like, I've told you more about myself than most performers would have ever told you about themselves. I told you to be funny. I told you in times when there was a slow news day. You know what I mean? I just started spitting shit out.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry if I let you down. What do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Half of you don't even use your real names when you yell at us.
Yeah.
I've told you things that most guys would never have told you.
That's like a funny comparison to like the band thing. Like I always have had a lot of respect for like the Brian Setzer Orchestra, that he could manage all those people, that band didn't break up. You have that many people and they never had an issue.
Or they never had a visible issue. I'm sure they had them.
Yeah. But how many musicians are there in that band?
I don't even know.
It's a whole orchestra.
Yeah.
And they hold that together. Do you think like Philharmonic orchestras have like first chair violin has a heroin problem?
He fucks the tuba player's fucks the tuba player's wife.
Yeah.
It probably happens all the time, and they just boot him, and you never know. It's just another jerk off in a tux. There's no attachment. There's no attachment to those people, so you'll never see them coming and going.
Yeah.
I would love to see a showboating like cello player. Just you gotta keep it together. You can no more. I don't know. Fucking just comes in. Makeup, I don't know, just like spandex.
See, I don't know shit about the orchestra. I'm sorry I took this in this
I'm
direction.
really reaching here.
Yeah,
Why?
I had
I mean,
bow
the
ties,
orchestra's
violins. That's all I really understand.
I had cello, that was it.
Yeah,
I had tuba. I don't think tubas are in orchestras, but I said it.
I'm sure there are once in a while.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's where the rift is. Maybe one guy shows up with a tuba because he's better at that, and they're like, we don't need this. Whenever it just happens.
That's how marching bands started. They literally walked out, just didn't stop, just kept going.
Sorry, I'm clearing my throat so much. Just fucking. I realize it's coffee that does it to me. It's not. I don't drink dairy at all, so it's like that fucking thing you get. It's caffeine. I gotta quit caffeine.
Yeah, you're like a diet and exercise guy now, right?
Yeah, but I've been eating like shit lately, so I get self-hatred immediately.
So I remember like 10 years ago, you were never like fat, but you were.
I
like,
was a fucking
I
pig.
wouldn't say you were fat. You were like round.
I'll show you my
rounder.
driver's license photo. I was an oinker. I was a fucking
I would say fat. Yeah, as a fat man, I feel
I
like
was.
I,
I was.
can,
Yeah, I was like,
Really?
I was.
You know what? I was probably around the same weight you were, or like the same. Like when I was like 17, I was like a little bit heavier, but I was like, I'm not fat. So yeah, I don't know what like motivated that.
When we were doing Tough Crowd back in this was like 2002, me and Nick DiPaolo had an argument in the and far be it from Nick to say something caustic, but we were in the writers' room fighting. He's like, you fat fuck. And when he said that, I was like, oh my god, that's something people use at me now when they're mad.
Right,
I must have really put a lot of weight on it, and I still fluctuated up and down for years after that. It was a couple years ago. I just got sick of it. But I found I was looking through my old hard drive last night, trying to find something to jerk off to that I'd saved. And I saw a picture of myself actually on camera with Janine Garofalo for the first Tough Crowd. I was so fucking fat.
Yeah.
Because we taped those first 8 in November of 2002. And I remember, I think I was in 4 of the first 8. And was I fucking horrible. That was like almost at my fattest. I was probably like 175 at that point. I think I hit 181 at one point, if I remember right.
Yeah, that's kind of fat, I guess. Yeah, no, take that back.
That's hilarious. Yeah,
that would be pretty big.
What was your fat guy vice? Did you have a specific thing that you did that you just went crazy on?
Food, you mean?
Food-wise, yeah.
No, it was everything.
Yeah.
So I quit smoking in 2001. So I think that was where I just started eating more, and no, I wasn't exercising. I was doing this thing for a long time when we got kicked off the radio, which was again 2002, 2003, where I was watching The Sopranos and eating fruit until 4 in the morning. I'd go to the diner and get these this giant like fruit plate with what comes with fruit? Cottage cheese.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that was all fattening and sugar. Fuck, man.
Well, that sucks.
Wow, getting fat from fruit is horrific.
That's the worst way to do it.
That was just one way to do it. I mean, there was other stuff I was eating.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
just
yeah.
that was like thinking I was being healthy at 2:00 in the morning.
Well, that is pretty healthy. Cottage cheese is like a great, post sleep or pre-sleep meal.
Sugar keeps you up all night. It was really awful.
Yeah, the sugar. Yeah, I guess that's probably bad for you.
I tried to be healthy by ordering a salad yesterday, and I was like, oh, like a chicken salad, and it was just like I just ordered from a place I'd never gotten. It was like 4 pieces of lettuce and just a chicken cutlet on top of it. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, I guess I ate a salad today.
Yeah, you gotta
This
ask for
counts
grilled
as a salad.
chicken.
Yeah.
You gotta ask. So
You do.
I'm the white of vegan. Tell me you're fucking worse than me when I order. I'm horrible. I order everything exactly how I want it.
I went to Joe's by the stand.
Oh, yeah.
That fucking place, and I was like, "Can I get like just a chicken salad?" And the guy was like, "What like what you mean like a chicken salad?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, yeah, that's literally that's what I said. Yeah, let me get a chicken salad." He's like, "Oh, okay, I guess." And he was like weird about it. And I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And then they bring and it was chicken salad. It wasn't like a chicken
mayo and
salad
stuff, right?
with mayonnaise, and it was a giant scoop, like the size of a half a fucking basketball on the plate. And they're like, "Yeah, it's like $13." He thought I just wanted like 3 pounds of
A
chicken
handful
salad.
of chickens. I'll just put it in my hand, please. I'll
A
just
plate of
I'll
fucking
walk
mayonnaise.
it.
Yeah.
No, you gotta ask for a regular salad and say I want grilled chicken on it. That's
Yeah.
how you gotta order that. Because chicken salad, they bring you that fucking, like you said, that scoop of mayo. It sucks.
This is excellent content.
I know, it really is. I know. We're just chatting about 3 fucking hens
Yeah.
fetching about our weight. Oh, I don't know. It goes right to my hips. I tried the fruit salad. It's delightful. We really should be killed.
Well, I don't know. I guess it's just weird to think that, like, because you seem like, very, like, not obsessive, but, like, detail-oriented, and you got a schedule, and you got to, like, keep things going all the time. So the weight, fitness stuff and, like, the diet stuff makes sense in the context of your personality now. I don't, like, what was your thing before diet and exercise?
I was up. I mean, 'cause I as much as I talk about escorts and stuff, I really don't do that much at this point. But back then, man, I was in such manic depression. I was doing like fucking dominatrixes every night, escorts every night, till 3 o'clock in the morning. We did afternoons when I was in MEW, so I was not a morning person.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd go to bed at 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, get up at 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Tough Crowd taped at 3. So we get the topics. I'd write the night before. I'd get up at like noon
Right.
at the fucking earliest, and then kind of go sluggish to work. So it's like there was no time to exercise. After
Yeah.
that, it would be right to work and do gigs and up all night again. So now getting up in the morning kind of helps you be more regimented in life.
Right.
So that's why I hate it, but I like it for that reason. I feel like a real person.
Because you quit drinking, like, young. You were,
I was 18, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Do you
like a
regret
douche.
that at all?
No. I don't.
Regret quitting
I
drinking?
do. I've been sober for a couple of years, and I don't know why. I don't understand why I'm doing it.
There's times where I was like, hey, smoking pot would be fun. But I learned from the people who, is that too loud, that thing?
No.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah.
There's times where I crave it, like, wow, that'd be fun. But then I look at people who are wrecking their careers with it, and I'm like, no, it wouldn't be. Because I'm the guy who wrecks his career with it. Joe Rogan fucking eats pot and then practices jujitsu. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy that fucking eats pot and then succeeds. I'm the
Honestly,
guy
I
who
don't-
smokes pot and does nothing.
I don't really have a career to wreck. So, I mean, it's kind of just like, I just haven't had fun in the last 3.5 years. I guess things have gone better for me.
Things
you
are
know.
definitely better. You used to live with a clown rape victim from the army in a closet
Oh, yeah,
in Baltimore.
yeah.
Remember
Oh,
that?
yeah.
That was your life. You worked you were a part-time, what were you, a telemarketer for a symphony?
Yeah. Oh, no.
You don't think your life is better since you quit drinking?
Now I look worse for not knowing shit about the orchestra when I actually.
Oh, yeah, you're telling me.
I worked for the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra. I was like a telefunder for them. I worked in the basement at nights, and I would like call old people and beg them for money for the orchestra.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and I lived with a clown that had PTSD from when he was raped in the army. So he would like fucking wake
Wow.
up in the middle of the night hyperventilating and screaming and then throwing his clown shit all over the fucking. Yeah. And
Who raped him?
another clown, I guess.
It was in clown
Yeah, it was
college.
other soldiers. That was the story. Yeah.
Wow.
You rushed a clown fraternity
But
and they
you know,
raped him.
and it's shitty. I know, like believe victims or whatever, but I don't think it. It just didn't make sense.
Yeah, there's times where victims are lying too. I mean, just because
Yeah.
they're victims or they say they're victims, everyone's not a victim just because they say they are.
Yeah, I mean the story, the way he told it is like he was coming out of surgery at like age 47, and he like one of the orderlies in the hospital looked creepy, and then he had like a flashback to like, oh yeah, when I was in the army I got raped, but. There's, repressed memories is kind of like a bunk science. A lot of that's just like suggestion, on the part of a therapist.
It can
or
be,
whatever.
yeah. Although I know cases where it's really come back, where your mind shuts down and fucking because you're protecting the person, or protecting someone who abused you or whatever, or protecting yourself from it. It's a good time for
Well,
my
you do that bit though about your friend with the Star. What was it? The Star Wars cards or the Star Wars toys? Your
Oh
friend?
yeah, my friend who got I think molested by the fucking security guard. He pulled his dick out to show him that he didn't have any Star Wars. That's a true story.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Came back with the Star Wars Corvettes, white trash department store in New Jersey. And I just forgot it for years. But I didn't repress that or wipe it out. It might
Yeah,
have
you
just been
just
unpleasant
forgot
or
about it.
scary, and I walked away from it.
Right,
But I
right.
wasn't the one who was abused. He didn't
Yeah.
ask to see my dick. He asked to see my friend's dick.
Well, it's like the satanic
just being
ritual,
thorough, honestly,
the
it sounds
satanic
like.
ritual abuse like scandals in the 80s. You know, they have all these kids where they're like, and then did he, you know, like, and you can say no, but did he bend you over and fuck you in the
Right.
ass and pull your hair, you know? And then the kid's like, yes. And they're just like playing with a truck and not even looking at the investigator. And like, most of those people recanted, but there was like one or two, like if you watch, you know, Capturing the Freedmans, I think there's like one guy that's like, no, he did it. He's still convinced that it happened.
Yeah, that's a very weird thing with repressed memories in childhood, like the McMartin preschool. You know what I mean? It was a whole thing was a.
I don't know that story.
Oh, it's a really huge story. Look up the McMartin preschool with the power of suggestion.
Yeah.
A bunch of kids said that these teachers molested them.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, it looks like they really didn't.
Yeah. Well, that's what. Yeah. But this case was. Did you see Capturing the Freedmans?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah,
He-
yeah.
One of those guys was at the Comedy Cellar one night.
Oh, really?
Actually, they're doing the documentary. was
One of the
like-
victims or one of the Freedmans?
One of the Freedmans,
Oh. Okay.
I think.
Did you ask him if he did it?
Don't remember. I don't remember. If I
It
mentioned him or
usually
not.
be great if like you just conspired with everyone in there that was there that night to be like, he raped all of us. He came in and he raped everybody.
He came to the cellar.
I don't think we knew he was there when I was on, or I don't remember if I knew he was on. God fucking damn. Do you guys talk? I'm gonna open my washer thing because that's gonna beep and annoy the shit out of me.
Look at Mr. Wears Clothes over here.
Yeah, he's got his own washer.
Clothes. So how do you feel about this, Stav? How's it going?
Pretty good. I think, we could pick it up probably.
Yeah.
I want to ask about Dominatrixes probably next in a second.
That would be a good idea. We could do that. We always talk more about Brechy.
We probably could have gotten more into Baltimore, that weird period of time in Baltimore where you were a big-time alcoholic and you were...
I mean, I was a big-time
Driving.
alcoholic, for years. Prior.
Yeah, well, but I knew you then when you were...
Yeah.
there's plenty of...
Oh,
This is a nice little mid podcast check-in.
It is a good
mid
podcast check-in.
we
This
can do with
apartment is so
ourselves.
nice. I'm like,
Yeah,
just
this
so
view is
relaxed.
incredible.
We
Yeah.
usually do it in your shitty office, where I'm thinking about getting all that free cereal. That woman so badly wanted to kick me out last week.
Yeah.
Excuse me, who are you here with? She asked me that like 3 times.
They barely want me there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where was this?
He has this fucking dumb job at this office in
Yeah.
Midtown. So you can tell him. I guess.
Yeah, I work for this company. They're trying to do a comedy. They're trying to launch a comedy site, but the rest of it is all clickbait. Like they all do, just the worst parts of the internet.
Yeah,
They're just ripping off anything that's successful. They just do their own version, and it makes.
Yeah.
The sad part is that's what makes the most money.
It
It's not
does, right?
original content. It's just taking other ideas and retreading them. But most of the people there are just like, it's coders, it's advertising people, it's like professional people, and it's like
Yeah, the company is like what are their main thing is like programmatic ad sales
Yeah,
or
exactly.
something. It's an advertising company, and then I think what their main thing is they find like media outlets or websites, and then they tailor like ad content for those sites.
Oh.
But then to make more money, they said, well, why don't we have our own proprietary sites,
Right.
and then put the ads on there,
But-
and then one of them is like an Onion or like
Yeah. And then they're turning into a comedy. But whatever. That what matters is that most of the people there are real people with real fucking jobs and shit. And then we come in every once in a while with dog T-shirts, and Mullen's wearing a Mountain Dew sleeveless tee, and they're just trying to kick us out. We do the podcast there, and it's like clearly we don't belong there.
Yeah.
Clearly this is we're the people that are just working for the comedy site and doing a cum podcast in one of their conference rooms.
But I'm surprised with the internet and stuff. There's so many people that work on it that don't wear a suit and a tie. Like I'm surprised
Right.
they're not used to that dynamic of, somebody who's different or odd coming in. I mean, it's not that uncommon with the fucking web.
Well, it's mostly because like I'm screaming in the kitchen or whatever.
Yeah, we're
Like,
just-
she got mad at me because Adam said that Adam told this story about he's like the other guy we do this podcast with. Adam was like watching because now his friends listen. I can't so it's well, whatever. He said he overheard like some girl. He's watching like Game of Thrones with some girl, and the episode ends, and the girl was like, "It's just so cool that we like all get to be a part of this like cultural event together." It's like a cultural movement. She was referring to Game of Thrones as like a cultural movement. And then, we were like making fun of her in the kitchen or whatever. And I was like, yeah, like, how like Dr. Martin Luther King wrote Game of Thrones. And the receptionist was like, she's like a black lady. And I saw her like fucking snap and look at me as soon as I said Dr. Martin Luther King.
You're just taking free cereal. It's 6 p.m. You're loading up on their breakfast cereal that they have there and eating and drinking
that
coffee.
Special K they have there. And she asked me like 3 times. She's like, who are you here with? Does he know you're here? And almost kicked me out. I want to ask you this about, because you know about like, I guess, prostitutes and stuff. Because somebody told me, do you know what FinDom is?
Financial domination.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Somebody told me yesterday that's not real.
It's real.
Like a grizzled vet, of course, I know.
But that there's no real market for it. But people do that for real?
There are, of course, there's guys. I used to date a dominatrix. There are guys that love that. They absolutely is real. I'm not saying it's a big fetish, but there's a lot of guys that love opening their wallet. It's probably more wishful thinking on the part of the dominatrixes too.
Yeah.
But there are guys that love that type of humiliation. I don't get it. At all. I don't do it. I think it's stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm tactile. I need a fucking ass on my face. I got to smell it.
That's how most people are.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
coming.
That's what I don't get about like when a dominatrix. It's like they just like treat you bad, and then look, do whatever you want at first. Treat me like shit, whatever. But at some point, I want to come.
Sure. Yeah, right.
That's where.
Well, at the end of the day, with the FinDom shit, you're still beating off, and if you're beating off, then it's like a fantasy, and then it's like, why don't you just fantasize about someone taking your money?
It's not enough anymore.
You keep the money.
No, it's progression. It's not enough. How come you don't just drink 1 beer? Well, because 8 is what I need now. That's how it is with this shit. It doesn't feel good anymore. Got to keep upping the ante a little bit. Got to do this. FinDom does nothing for me. I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but it's stupid to me.
Yeah, no, because there's this girl that hates Kurt, that went after Kurt, who just like a nut job internet person, and she does FinDom now, I guess, because she couldn't get a job writing. But, someone was telling me that there's no way that she actually has a job doing that, because no one will.
Wait, she does financial domination?
But online, where she just like texts you like, fuck you, pig. And then apparently men give her money for that.
What?
Yeah, it's a weird thing with, there are guys that like to be, like if you would have told me at one point in my life that I would ever get turned on by a woman putting her feet in my face while I jerked off, I would have thought you were nutty. But.
Oh, so you grew into feet.
Yeah. I never liked it. When I did my ex-girlfriend who was a dominatrix, had beautiful size 8 feet, never cared about them. Never. It was something that happened after.
A recent development.
Yeah, it was one of those things where you just get bored and you move on. So financial domination is probably one of those things where guys who love just having hookers say, open your wallet.
Yeah.
Or dominatrix, you say, open your fucking wallet, worthless.
Yeah.
Lick my feet, worthless. Just a way of feeling worthless and used and shitty. Probably guys like judges and fucking hedge fund guys.
Right.
And guys that get whatever they want.
That's weird. And now I have to worry about that I might turn into one of those guys. My dad, at age like 60, got into trains. And it was so fucking embarrassing.
Hope you didn't want to be the middle. two darker studs.
Well, no, really. Like, it was like his like 63rd birthday, and he's like, "Yeah, my wife took me up to some bullshit town in Pennsylvania to go see a train." And then he's like got videos of the train on his like phone. He's
I
trying to
swear
show
to
me.
God, I thought you meant threesomes.
Yeah, no.
I swear to God, I thought you meant threesomes.
Why would I be ashamed of
It's
that?
more embarrassing to be
no.
into
It's
locomotive.
Lionel trains. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he became like a railroad fan at age 63 after like I had spent 15 years making fun of those people on the internet.
Your dad turned autistic at 63.
And those are just in your genes.
He just likes to look at trains.
He just likes trains. Yeah, he enjoys looking at trains. He used to. Oh man, one time he used to wake up. So his wife doesn't let him do anything. He's not allowed to have like friends. One time he used to like wake up at like 3:45, 4 o'clock in the morning. And like go out into like where his like laptop is by the kitchen area in the apartment and like quietly look at model cars on eBay. Like slot cars and stuff that he wasn't allowed to buy. His wife wouldn't let him have anything, but he would just look at these collectibles that he would have if he could. But he had to sneak out into the computer area to do that.
Why?
I don't know, because his life's shit.
You don't like her?
No, she's great actually. She was a nightmare when I was a teenager, but like now that I'm an adult and she doesn't have any control over me, she's a lot of fun.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. She's like, we went to my grandmother's funeral like 2 months ago, and she's like, you know, well, I gotta stop to get, and she gets those little like, you know, those tiny liquor bottles, so she can get drunk
Flu
at
shots.
the funeral. Yeah, she's yelling like "fuck you" to everybody, and everyone's like horrified.
Oh, wow.
It's just funny. I think it's. She's
Once
like
you're out of it, it's fun to watch from a distance.
It's
Yeah,
not my
yeah.
funeral. I don't give a shit. You know, let her ruin it.
Is your dad embarrassed by her? Is he like one of those codependents who's like, oh, you know, she's just grieving, you know, or is he?
It's not. It was his mom. Yeah, it wasn't. He was the one that was grieving. She was just drinking.
So she's just being an asshole?
I guess, yeah, a little bit. I don't know how he I mean, they're not. Well, I mean, maybe they're happy. Who fucking knows? They've been together forever now.
Right.
But
At a certain point, it's like, what are you gonna do?
right.
When you're like, 60, whatever.
Yeah.
What are you gonna start a new life?
Yeah, it's hard when
yeah.
you're older.
Like,
I feel bad for older women. I think older guys have a shot. We can always go out and find somebody. But
Right.
if you're like in your fucking late 50s, early 60s with 2 kids,
You don't,
ugh.
you don't have a shot if you're like 63 years old and you just like trains.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does
You're not-
knock
you
down
work
the
not having
odds.
money. You're just a guy who likes trains.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're knocking a lot of pussy off the auction block when you fucking come with that.
Yeah, the only women he can fuck are the women that are tied up on the tracks. Yeah, rescue.
Oh man.
So usually we take a break right around now.
You break on your podcast?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why do you break?
Just because it like offers people like a split. If you do like a 30-minute chunk, people listen to 30 minutes. If they're like, I don't know, I read it.
Where are we at,
somewhere.
time-wise?
About 30 minutes.
Oh, okay, we'll take a quick break.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
take a quick break.
Do you do any ads?
No, we do like a Patreon where people can just like
Oh,
donate.
okay.
It's like a monthly donation.
they donate?
thing. Yeah, now we're getting like, I don't know, $90, $100.
That's nice.
Yeah, my friend started a podcast like 2 months ago, and that's where I got the idea for the Patreon thing. And I checked yesterday to see how much money they're making off donations to their podcast. And do you want to guess?
Is it a good podcast?
Yeah, it's a good podcast.
$1,000 a month?
No, no, it's just shy of like $8,000 a month.
Wow.
For like a podcast off like donations. That's good. That's insane. I admit, well,
if we were smart, because they
yeah.
they
they're
provide
smart guys.
services
Yeah,
to
they do
people.
like
They,
they know about fucking Syria and shit.
journalism and shit like that.
Yeah, we're not like we don't really know stuff.
Yeah. We barely can keep a conversation going.
Right, perfect. So we'll take a break. Sure. And then so here's the thing. Either we'll decide like if we're having a good time, we'll like continue, or like we'll just get Adam for the second half.
Oh, a teaser.
So take a break and we'll be back.